Hello, so today we ask, how much further will Bitcoin fall? And like Brexit, Trump, What a Woman Is, the BBC, or vaccines, Bitcoin has proved itself one of the battlegrounds in the ongoing culture war. Some people like it a lot. I'm one of them. Bitcoin fixes this is the slogan, and Bitcoin is thought to be the answer to any number of societal problems, from unaffordable housing to government overreach to the financial inclusion of the unbanked, the world's poorest. And there are many, however, who take the other view. It's only used by drug dealers and money launderers. It's a Ponzi scheme. It can't scale, and it's destroying the environment. And the latter have been rather noisy of late, and the reason, of course, is that Bitcoin has crashed again. It isn't that unusual. We'll start with the price. What was $67,500 back in November? It suddenly got very windy and I haven't got my windjammer, sorry. It's now 20,000. It touched 18,000 a couple of weeks ago or last week, and I make that a 75% haircut, which isn't good, but it's not abnormal. It's had at least 6 corrections of 80% in its 13-year life. I make that one every 2 years, and yet on the broader time horizon, the network continues to grow, the number of users increases, and the price appreciates. And nevertheless, that kind of volatility is hard to stomach, particularly if you have a large portion of your net worth tied up in it, or you're using leverage. And it makes the case for it to become some kind of default money system harder to press. But it is what it is. A new technology whose purpose is to be money. It's about as speculative a boom-bust vehicle as you could ever hope to design. As I see it, there have been 2 factors driving the price action. First, we're in the midst of one of the most vicious bear markets in my memory. Just about every asset there is being battered. I've been asking if oil will be the next to go, and it looks a bit shaky. I don't think oil's going back to $50 or anything, but it's certainly going a bit lower. And we're talking about deleveraging across the board, and in such a macro environment, there is little time for speculative growth plays like Bitcoin, the future of money or not. Panic is acute, there's a rush for cash. Never mind that after you account for inflation, cash is losing 10% per annum. For now, cash is king, and it's appreciating against everything else. Specifically, the US dollar is king, which is breaking out of its range to 19-year highs. And I'm worried, by the way, it goes to 120. And if it does, as I've been discussing for some time, never mind Bitcoin, all assets are in deep, deep trouble, be they stocks, commodities, or other national currencies. We might even need another Plaza Accord. But of all the sectors to have been walloped by this bear market, tech, the darling of the preceding bull market, has been hit hardest. Bitcoin may not be a Nasdaq stock, but it trades as though it is, and the Nasdaq has been hit hard. The wider cryptocurrency sector got itself into panic mode, and that's the second catalyst to drive crypto prices lower. It comes from within the sector itself. We wrote a few weeks ago about the collapse of Luna, Terra, whatever it's called, and suggested Bitcoin would go to $20,000 then. With the sudden rush for liquidity, it didn't, it held up. And then we got the latest scandal to Dog Crypto, which is sort of knock-on from Terra, and it's around Celsius, and that's driven it down to below 18,000. Celsius is one of those lending platforms which paid what seemed like extraordinary rates of interest if you stake your crypto coins with them, and they would then lend those coins out to someone else, sort of like banking really, but with cooler buzzwords. Anyway, 7% was what it paid for Bitcoin, and I gather up to 18% for other coins. And you know, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't true. But anyway, with falling crypto prices this year, many have been withdrawing their crypto, creating for Celsius a liquidity crisis of its own, and the collapse in value of its Terra holdings only made things worse. And I think it borrowed ether from customers and staked it in such a way that it's now tied up and can't sell, if I've understood that correctly. Anyway, it's a cluster flip. And then it emerged that it had sent over 300 million coins to exchange FTX. It looked like a rug pull, cue a market panic as everyone tried to get their coins back, and in many cases sell what they have. And before long, Binance, the world's biggest exchange, also halted withdrawals, although only for a period. And listening to that, I imagine most neutrals wouldn't want to get involved in this space at all, and fair enough. But I remain of the mind that Bitcoin is an extraordinary technological breakthrough, and I want to keep my shares, if you like, in what is the most powerful computer network ever built. Others won't feel the same way, and perspectives get messed about with in bull and bear markets, and we're at one of those points where everything looks awful. Last week or so, it started to steady and pull up. I've suggested several times that Bitcoin might come back to $20,000. That was the level in 2017 at the end of that particular episode before it went back to 3,000. It's an obvious pivotal price point. It's gone to 18,000, so just below. But will that number hold? If this bear market carries on for much longer, the short answer is no. Everything's going to be lower. If we're setting up for a crash in the autumn like 2008, Bitcoin goes lower too. But we have to hope what was resistance now becomes support, that $18,000 to $20,000 area. It often does. If not, the next line in the sand's 12,000. And I can imagine, there's so many people on the internet going, if it goes to 12,000, I'll buy loads. They probably won't when it gets there because they'll be too scared. But at the moment, it looks like it's steadied. It's pulled up to 21,000, and everything looks like it's steadied. The stock market, the Nasdaq. So maybe we've seen the lows. But the thing is, are there other rug pulls and unravelings lurking underneath the surface? It usually takes a bear market to expose them, and we've seen the worst of them. But this whole staking business is being hit by a massive run. Staking is like the ICOs of the last bull market, and if another one unravels, 3AC under the spotlight, Bitcoin probably goes lower in the short term. And if you're interested in buying some Bitcoin, and I can't say given recent action, I blame you if you're not, but I put a guide together over at Substack for subscribers, so take a look at that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. A bit of a rambly one today. And please subscribe to my Substack channel. Please subscribe to this channel, and I'll be back with another video very soon.